here, and you can see in that chart before, is we've been in a bull market run, and the markets have provided really good returns. I mentioned oil. So obviously oil is the topic du jour. I went by my gas station this morning at $3.94 for unleaded gas. And this is the big unknown in the markets and the economy currently. But our CIO group believes that the amount of positives are going to outweigh the negatives around oil. And a lot of the issues that have been, frankly, very negative, we've already overcome. Government shutdown, fiscal stimulus, tariffs are now, I'll show you in just a second, tariffs are now coming to kind of getting to their landing point. And so oil is one of those that's really tough because you have to know a couple things to have a perspective on oil. First, it costs $35 to get oil out of the ground. And that's not exact, but just kind of keep that as an average. So if it's $35 to get it out of the ground, during COVID, we were selling oil at $20 a barrel. You knew that wasn't sustainable. But on the other side, as we're dealing with today at $100 or $110 a barrel, the benefactor right now, frankly, is Texas, because we're seeing more, and you heard this yesterday with Trump's comments coming out of China, is with the Strait of Hormuz shut down, Texas becomes, in the Gulf, becomes the new place to be outside of the Middle East to get oil. And so the impact at the gas pump is, and I don't want to make this seem not important, it is important. And it is definitely hitting the consumer, but I'm going to talk about which consumers it's hitting the most here in a second. But the bigger question, I think, is, will these oil headwinds cause an economic global ripple that in turn can come into the United States that could potentially push us into a recession? Right now, we don't see that. Not that if this continues for a longer period, could that happen? Yes. But today, right now, it doesn't seem like that's the dynamics that we're dealing with. And I still think that there's some hopeful optimism that the war in Iran will end peacefully or somewhat peacefully, and we will normalize here. And that's a big TBD, obviously, that we're not sure about. But we don't think that just the oil dynamic by itself is enough. And remember, we don't get our oil from Iran. Iran's oil, primarily 80% of Iran's oil goes to China. Hence why this summit was so important and called on, is other countries are feeling the impact of the Iranian oil embargo much more so than the U.S., but we are feeling it at the pump.